What are we jamming on now? Jay, what are you jamming on
Man,
besides Castlevania?
besides Castlevania, so there was Exo Primal, but I've hung up my Exo suit. I'm like halfway through the story in terms of like the pickups to get that kind of like tell you what's happening and why you're there, kind of, piecing together clues. I'm about 50% of the way through. But it's so repetitive. Like they showed a crossover. Like when they announced this game, Capcom showed a crossover with Street Fighter. And because I'm big in fighting games and I love Street Fighter, like I was pumped about this. And I understand it's coming soon, but like I just need something more than just killing the dinosaurs. Like they've switched it up, like the modes are like
Something more than
changing.
just killing the dinosaur.
I mean, like the modes are changing, which is cool, but I don't know, man. It's just maybe it'd be different if I had a couple friends playing with me, and I was able to socialize. But on its own,
you talked about last. It is just a straightforward fighting game, right?
a straightforward shooting game. Like you have these
Shooting
different exo suits.
Oh yeah.
So there's tank support, DPS. Like they all have guns, but they also have like healing abilities or like big shields or more weaponry to kind of kill these dinosaurs. And there's a story behind it, and like so you can. It's good that you can kind of switch that up, but I'd kind of just rather play other games like Halo if I'm doing like a squad based.
Yeah, you're describing the problem with all modern shooters.
Well,
they're just reskinnings of the same fucking thing.
I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about it last night, and like the thing that I'm missing when it comes to games like that was games like Destiny 2. Like playing that before, whether you're with other people or not, like it's just fun. Like there's a lot more variability in what's happening. There's a lot more variability in like the environment. Like you're in different dungeons, different planets. Like it's there's so much going on that's different and cool that like that was a blast. Even doing dungeons in ESO, a blast. 4-player stuff. But this, I don't know. It's just not like killing dinosaurs is great, but it's I don't know, man. It's just there's just something missing about it. I don't know what it is though. I can't put my finger on it.
Okay.
So wrapping that up, and then yeah, Diablo 4, man. Since we last spoke, I've not only beat the campaign, which was very satisfying, but my new seasonal character is past level 50 as well, exact same level as my main character, and we've been smashing through the new seasonal content and the storyline. I've actually completed the season 1 story as well. Now I'm kind of just achievement hunting, killing all the things, strongholds, dungeons, and like it's a blast. Like I'm having a lot of fun. Like it's a game I'm going to keep playing, until the only thing we haven't really done is do the PvP stuff. Like we actually went into a PvP zone because our goal is to kind of complete all the seasonal content before the season ends. And I guess like the way they do it, it's not like open world. You're out there and like other players are going to kill you. So it was kind of nice. Like we were able to go there, complete our objectives without being targeted by other players, and that's something we'll get to in the future. But there's enough going on that I'm still having fun with it.
Yeah, that gives me anxiety to think about. PvP Diablo.
Yeah, it's fun though, man. Like there's just enough going on. Like they added these things called Hell Tides, so now just much more open world events where like the world is physically changing and like things are happening, and so you can choose whether or not to even go there and deal with that with other players or just to kind of like hang back and do other shit. But like certain things aren't even available when that's happening, so it's really cool, just to be out there and having just stuff happen in the open world, which is really
So they're
good.
they're constantly rolling out new
Yeah,
material.
yeah. It's not just like new dungeons and kind of new achievements and places you got to go, kill things and collect things. It's actually like whole world change kind of stuff. So that's fun. It lends itself to like, hey, me being saying to Courtney like, hey, let's go jump on and just see what's happening, and then
Right.
new shit's going on, and it's like, oh shit, let's go check that out.
Cool.
So been loving that, and then surprisingly enough, I've been back into Vampire Survivors. So
I see shit here and there. I finally saw some screenshots, dude.
Dude, it's pixelated. It's like you're like, what are you doing? It's basic. Like I said, it's one button. All you have is your control stick. Nothing else does anything in the game. But it's all about the pickups you get because they determine the build you put together and how powerful you are, and then can you go like unlock these secrets and find these relics depending on the build you get, and like so it's a very simple premise, and like my son like we'll get into that, but it's a very simple premise, but very well done with all the things that they add to it that you can get and like the builds that you can add on top of that. And so they just came out with a new, it's like I didn't 100% it, like I just done a lot with it before and kind of was done with the game. It came back in the Game Pass and they dropped their new DLC, which is now like 4-player co-op. So me and the kids are all playing together. And like even my 4-year-old, like I said, it's because it's only just a control stick, he can play it too. So like we're all playing the game together, 4-player couch co-op, which is not something a lot of games do nowadays. So now it's like extra fun. And yeah, we're back into it, man. It's really been good for family time. I highly recommend. So if you and Amy want to like jump on, you can play that together. No Game Pass needed. We solved the couch co-op problem. What is that?
I'll get to it, but it's solved.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's get to it because that's pretty much it. There's so much hotness dropping next month that's kind of it for now.
Calm before the storm. Okay. Well, I had a little bit of since we last played, a little bit of a Demio resurgence. Been playing that a little bit here and there. They are not dropping new content, which sucks, but they should be. I don't know why they're not. They're doing other dumb shit. Fucking, like, I've already said it, but like that they keep like, you know, their focus seems to be on like the PvP thing and fucking that basement thing and like
there's like a new battles thing. I was like, what is this? Like,
yeah, like social components and like trying to like you know,
just trying.
I don't know,
different things.
Yeah, instead of focusing on the thing that is attracting people to the product, you know, seemingly so. Anyhow, but whatever, it's still fun. Walkabout tourney action. So yeah, I started fucking a walkabout tournament. Oh, bro.
Oh, tell me about it. What happened?
So through 3 weeks now I've done this. The first week was El Diablo easy, which I hate El Diablo really, and then Atlantis hard course. So that's the structure of it. You get paired with you get put in groups, and usually 4 people, 3 or 4 people depending. 3 is so much better and faster. But it's usually 4, I think. And yeah, you play 1 easy course and then 1 hard course and kind of combine the score, and that's like your round, you know. And yeah, so this first week I just completely melted under the pressure. I'm so upset. Like I got a 7 under par in El Diablo easy, which is like half of what I would expect my average to be, like 12, 13 strokes under. My record is 15, you know. So just horrific start to the easy course. And actually I set the record on my record on Atlantis hard, 6 under par from the previous record of 3, and I had a really bad hole on that too, so I kind of recovered a little bit, but getting that 7 under on the easy course, dude, I was just like in a funk emotionally the rest of the time, dude. And like, yeah, the rest of the day, dude, I was just salty and upset. Like I was completely disgusted with myself. And you know, whatever. It's like I haven't played. Like I'll go in and do I play multiplayer and played competitively quasi, but you know, I suppose that's exhibition unrecorded play. So there's a different level of pressure there. I may perhaps, you know. So yeah, I'm just thinking like maybe it's rookie jitters and, you know, redemption lies in the future or whatever. And like, so the second week I I did some prep, like, you know, I practiced a little bit on those courses, but I didn't like, you know, there's things I still don't know. Like going into the second week, I like watched videos. I like watched all the hole-in-one videos of both courses. It was Sweetopia easy and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea hard were the 2 courses for week 2. So yeah, like I watched all the hole-in-one videos.
You knew all the ones you knew the courses coming. Like
they tell you in advance. Yes,
okay.
So you can practice all week for sure. Yeah, so
nice.
you don't have to just jump into a blind, which is kind for sure. It would be real rough to just have to like have really work it. That would make it so impossible because the people who are really elite on that shit, I can't even imagine how much they play. Like that first week I played against a dude that HD diver or whatever. I mean, he was like, it was in minus 20s on the hard course, like I can't remember what his 25 or 26 under on the easy course or something, So just, the people who really, I just can't even imagine how much they played. The people who really are just unreal at the top of the leaderboards in this thing. But whatever the case. So I go into the second week against Sweetopia, with Sweetopia, and I do pretty well. I did 16 under, 2 back of the leader, who was also kind of one of those elite players. He was kind of pissed, though. I think he was having a semi-bad day. And so that went okay. And then going into the hard, dude, I was just fucking terrible again. Finished 3 over, I think it was. And I had a few holes that were just total. And that can happen. That's the thing, too. Because on the hard courses, there's holes that just, they can go sideways. And it's almost impossible to recover on them. Yeah, so if you, it just, those courses lend themselves to having a bad day because there are components. But again, those fucking really good fuckers, they have all theyose workarounds too. They've already played this shit enough where they don't have those nightmare holes. Even like a bad hole is just still like a normal bad hole, like a couple strokes over. But a bad hole for someone who hasn't played it enough is like a +8 you stroke out, And if that happens, you're not even competing anymore, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I had a fucking awful hard run, and I was like, I seriously thought about quitting. I was like, this is not a healthy way. I'm playing Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. or the group I'm trying to get into schedule-wise. So, I'm just like, this is just not a healthy way to start a weekend day. It's just, I'm pissed off the rest of the day. It's just not good, not good. Man. So, I seriously thought about quitting before even last week. So, so I jump in on Sunday anyways. I'd already signed up, so I was like, fuck it, whatever. Again, watch some videos, know the hole-in-ones. That's not even trying to say I'm trying to execute the hole-in-ones. But it does give you an idea of what the ideal, at least starting stroke, like maybe what the advantageous angle to play or something, So they are helpful knowledge for sure. But it's not like you're just trying to hold in one every fucking hole. Although most of these motherfuckers, again, the really good motherfuckers are. They're like, if they're not, I would say at least half the holes in easy, they're hole-in-one. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and I'm not even saying, like, again, I haven't put in that much time, so I shouldn't expect to be able to compete with that. But it is still frustrating to be in there and just like, you see this motherfucker and there's just no hope of beating them because, yes, they're fucking hole-in-one in half the holes, and it's just whatever. So, I go in, and this Sunday it was Babylon easy, which I fucking hate Babylon. There's no backstops on any of the holes, basically. I fucking hate that. And then Temple of Zazura Hard, the Egyptian one, and Temple of Zazura Hard is fucking unreal. It's so difficult. So I just completely melted again. I was horrible in both rounds, and I was like, I fuck out of there. I told the guys in the thing, I'm like, I'm retiring. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So this isn't a healthy way to spend. Retiring from putt-putt. Yeah, retiring from professional putt-putt competition. It's not healthy. It's not something I'm cut out for. Despite my affinity for the
game. You just got to work on your game, Josh.
I don't have.
Put in the time.
Yeah, I don't have the drive, bro. That's the thing. I don't have the competitive drive for it anymore. So that's why.
Hey, isn't there like writer strike? There's all the strikes. Like, can you even work?
Should have time? No, I don't have time.
Just commit yourself.
That's part of the problem. That's an ancillary problem of the industry is that there are no producer strikes. There is no producer union. There is no. You don't get. There are no protections for the producers. You don't get to negotiate for as a group for better whatever. And part of that's self-inflicted. We could go into a whole tangent on that. I mean, there are people that have tried to initiate producers unions, but to get the really heavy hitters to participate is nearly impossible because they want the autonomy of individual negotiation and individual deal points because they are in such an advantageous position that it would be a serious self-concession to give those up, so. Gotcha. But we're not here to talk about labor legislature. We're here to talk about video games. So, retire from that shit. Fuck that. Not doing that anymore. Not good. Jab and I started doing I'm calling it the edit config sys quests, or edit config.sys quests, and we started with these old point-and-click adventures. So Space Quest 1 is the first one we're doing, and these games are fucking wild, dude. Like, we're doing the VGA remake, just to give you some perspective on this. We're doing the VGA remake that came out in, I think, 91 of an old, like, text parser game that was really, I think it was 84, maybe 86, that it was originally released. So this is really a 1986 game with a 6 or 7 year later remaster to give it a point and click interface that's a little better than having to just walk around with arrow keys and type what you want to do to a computer that can't really understand anything that you're typing, basically. So
my question, because I started listening to it last night and I didn't understand half the words that were coming out of your mouth, is why are you doing such a quest? Like, did you play this game before?
Yes,
yes. There has to be some historical context for such a specific adventure.
Yes, no, yeah, I had a lot of these games. I had all the King's Quests. I had a whole compilation of the first 6 of King's Quests. I had a few of the Space Quests, Police Quests. So yeah, I mean, these Sierra point and click games were big for that early '90s PC scene. And they could actually run on the shitty computer I had still. They were relatively basic from a computer performance standpoint. So yeah, we have a lot of nostalgia for these for sure. And back then with no internet, they're renowned for being borderline impossible and forcing you, like, part of the game loop is to die constantly. It's just honestly, modern gamer, it's part of why it's a zeitgeist YouTube thing, these games, because they're so far away mentally and, like, just the way they're approached from a gameplay perspective. You just need to have a completely different mindset than modern gaming, because it's painfully, and it's not difficult, it's just the way they work. Like, if you accept it as that's part of the game loop, like I said, as opposed to, like, if you think about it, like, I'm dying all the time, and it's just like it's just like a hard death. There's no, it's point and click. It's either like you die, it's binary, I guess, You either die or you don't die. And most of the times you die. Most everything kills you. The one solution doesn't kill you. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just such a different way to play a video game that I think it's really hard if you don't have the nostalgia for it to play a game like this. So, we're revisiting, and they're story-based games, so they lend themselves to that kind of side quest format that we do that's very, you're picking apart every little bit of minutia and trying to, like, put yourselves in the minds of the individuals that wrote this stuff originally and try to, talk about it and work it out, because so much of it is weird, truly weird. So they're fun. I've been playing a lot of that. And there's, I remember some of the stuff of most of these games you didn't beat because there was no internet, and you eventually hit a wall, and there was just no solution if you didn't have, even with the hint books. Like, I had the hint books for the one, I remember, and I still didn't beat that game. So I don't know. That might have been a technical problem. King's Quest 6 it was, I think I had the hint book for, and I still never beat that game. So fucking, like, any one of these we do will be a somewhat new experience, just because, as a kid, you can't possibly beat them, I don't think, if someone doesn't hold your hand through it all. I assumed you wouldn't want to participate in those. I didn't even ask. You don't want to do those, do you?
No, that does not sound
okay.
I feel like I went from, like, at school, from, like, Oregon Trail and, like, Number Munchers to, like, early computer, like, Doom, Descent, Duke Nukem, like, all those kind of games, Under Killing Moon, all that kind of stuff.
That's definitely a hurdle over the era that these happened in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Point and click, nah, pass.
Yeah. They're interesting. It's perfect again for that format. Just kind of sell them and, like, get to it. It's funny to me how short it is. Like, that first episode is like 7 minutes of gameplay, and it's like maybe the first fifth of the game. If you know what you're doing, you, like, blow through them, but again, so much of the game is just you're going to just run your head into things and die constantly because you just don't know what the fuck to do. But yeah, last but certainly not least, Amy got us both copies of Baldur's Gate 3 on our laptops for my birthday, since there's no sign of an Xbox release, which is pretty fucking weak, Microsoft, but I imagine you must have said something pretty shitty to Larian Studios for that to have been the case. So yeah, everything I've heard about this game had been glowing.
Yeah.
And I had my whole diatribe about Divinity Sin 2 and how I was maybe going to be off this game as a result. But so yeah, I let it play out a little bit, and everything about it is just even with some. I know they had like I think the fourth hotfix, they had to roll back because something fucking went off the fucking. I think people were losing save games even, So like they had to roll a hotfix back, like just a patch basically, and they re-released it a few days later once they fixed whatever that problem was. So they've had your issues that come with such a big game in particular release. But even with that, I mean, people are just fucking like falling all over themselves about this game. So knowing what kind of game it is and how few of them there are that are like this kind of just like, it's being called the. And I think it's very apt, the closest possible replication to date anyways, of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons tabletop gaming. Like the amount of, I guess just freedom, honestly, is the simplest way to put it. Like you freedom and lack of limitations. Like, there's still a video game there and you can't do just anything, but fuck, it's close. It's it's like if you want to just drag some shit across the room and put it over here and start stacking boxes up, like maybe to climb to something that really you probably shouldn't. They didn't ever intend for you or for you to be inclined to climb to. You can still do that. You know what I mean? There's just like you see videos of people like throwing sheep off a fucking cliff to kill something down below. Just like crazy shit that like. That's what is cool about D&D, even in my limited experience with it. The really interesting thing about D&D is, the adage, asking your DM, can I do this? And the DM will always say, you can try. It's like Jab's little thing that he always says in the side quest. You can try. Like, I don't have any text over here, or there was no plan to accommodate that, but we can always roll the die and, see if your incredibly unlikely thing works, and that is something that most video games just don't allot you because there's code and there's only so much of it, and there's only so many humans that can spend the time to create new code to accommodate your idea. You know what I mean? So like a game that allows you that is just super appealing to me. And this does that in spades, I think. And the level of, it's turn-based, the battling, it's the same as Divinity Sin, the real-time stuff, and then when you get into a battle, it turns turn-based. And it's funny, too, you can actually you can elect to go, which is, I don't think I've seen that before. If you are in something that I guess maybe technically isn't a battle, or maybe you're going to initiate a battle yourself, you can, like, click it over to turn-based whenever you want. You can elect to do that. Which is interesting to take. It basically takes away the real time aspect if you're going to try to do something that's highly orchestrated with the group, which is a cool feature, I think, that, again, I just don't see much of. I don't think, I don't play every game, I guess, every modern game, but I've never seen it before. That's cool. So yeah, so it's just fucking, the story depth is fucking off the wall, of course. It's Dungeons & Dragons, so all the shit's there. I, of course, started a Tiefling Ranger, as I had been doing, which allows you the animal companion, so like, you can have a bear or a badger or a fucking boar or whatever it might be as an accompaniment. Mostly archery-based, but the builds allow you to do both, and you can kind of interchangeably swap. They might not have the same proficiencies and aptitudes. Like, there's a million numbers working behind the curtain, for everything you do, of course. But yeah, I mean, the number of, there's just so much, man. Like, there's just so much spells and skills, and like, I've learned, like, I texted you guys about it. Like, we got into this cave, bumped into this spider matriarch that there's no chance in hell we were going to beat. The normal, straightforward, just knock all its HP down kind of way. And I'm like going through just like, we're like, fuck it, let's just see what happens, whatever. If you load, you load. But I start going through my the things I have. Like I said, I'm archery based, so I see this arrow that I hadn't used yet called a thunder arrow. And like, I'm like, oh, it probably has like a little bit of like some sort of a boom or something. Yeah, right. Something that can fucking maybe knock this thing. And it's like, it's in a cave, so like there's cliffs everywhere and shit. I'm like, maybe I can knock this fucking thing off, you know, and we don't have to deal with it, you know. And like, sure enough, I fucking fired that arrow and it like, boom, knocked it off, and it's like fucking falls into the chasm and dies on one hit. And I was just like, oh my fucking god! Fucking like, and like, it's so, that's the cool thing about an environment like this is like, you know, I think there's pessimism if you try shit that's on more on rails, or in a game that's more on rails. So like a game like this with so much, like, you just don't know what's gonna happen. So like you'll try shit that like maybe you probably wouldn't try, and then if it actually works, like that's again like generating an emotion that a lot of video games can't generate, because a lot of the expectation, like you have the expectation of there's only so many things that can fucking happen here. You know what I mean? And like, it was just a really cool moment that again, not many games give me these days.
Nice.
So very, very fucking good. And I mean, I don't even, you know, we got that maybe Friday, and I don't know, we've probably put in, I don't even know, 30 hours or something already. Like, just like, we played it all of Saturday, because we were up at Lake Arrowhead, and the fucking hurricane's hitting here. So we're like, we should probably, we should probably leave and not be in the mountains for a fucking hurricane. And so we drove down Saturday night, but we played all Saturday morning, got back here, played some more, played all of Sunday, and a lot of Friday night, you know. So it's just a shit time. And then same thing last night. Once she got home from work and dinner was out of the way, we got another couple of hours. So it's something we'll be playing a lot of. There's no question. And
wow, okay, so it's worth the hype.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. I mean, I was gonna say like we've only had it for a few days, but again, at that hour count, I think like the exploratory nature of it, you can't lean on that anymore. I think you got an idea of what it is. Yeah, pretty fucking good.